I'm Phil Jordan, and I'm an independent pork producer. Been involved in raising pork on our Jordan farms all my life. When I came back from college, started in and I had two brothers, and I still have a brother that's still involved in the operation who couldn't be here today. But it's been a family business all the way through, and working together. And I don't know, like I said, I was at the very first festival in '71, and so I guess that's kind of staying my age a little bit, but it's been good.
I'm Mitchell Jordan. I graduated from school just a couple of years ago. Came home and have been on the hog farm ever since. Do whatever I can to help push things forward and help these guys out with everything that we need to get done on a daily basis, and look forward to the future and everything that we can accomplish.
I'm Clark Jordan. I graduated Purdue in '09 and been a farmer full-time, well, really since before that, but I worked for a bank for a couple of years in Rushville. Just like to see it grow.
Hi, my name is Miranda Ott, and I'm the daughter of Brad and Janet Ott. I am 15 years old and about to be 16. I am the secretary of the National Trail NBCTC FFA chapter and president of the Monroe Better Livestock 4-H Club, and I love anything and everything agriculture. I'm the person that does everything, is involved in every sport, every club. I like to be in everything, that way I'm not missing out. I chose to run for Pork Queen because my mom was Pork Queen, and I feel like it's a family tradition that should keep running.
I'm Rosalind Murphy Jameson. I was the first Pork Queen when the Pork Festival started, way back when. It's been quite a while since then, so a lot of things have changed, but a lot of things for the better too. I was honored to be able to be the first queen and now see all of the new faces that come through the royalty part of the festival. It gave me quite a understanding of the pork industry, because back then it was representing the pork industry versus just the festival. So we went on to do a district contest and then on to state. So my first time in running at the beginning, I went on to district and won that category as well. But then graduated from college and came back and decided that I wanted to be part of the festival again. So in 2 years difference of time, I ran a second time then and had the honor of winning the local festival as well as going on to district, and then I went to state. So here are my banners. These are made of pigskin. These are showing a little age, but the name that went along with being the festival queen back then was with the logo of Hogs Are Beautiful, and then from that it went to Pigs Are Pretty. So that's a little bit different now than what it started out to be. This is my state banner, and it's made of pigskin as well. Some of the things that are different now than what they were then was the contest started early on Saturday morning of the festival, and the winner was not announced following the contest. We went to the breakfast and with all of the contestants, and then got loaded up on the float and went through the parade, and then at the grandstand is when we were actually crowned and given the notification that we were the queen, and then went on to our responsibilities of the festival. So it was a click, click, click of everything that had to be done. So I went on to the smorgasbord line, welcomed people, just went around the crowd and met so many people, got to meet Billy DeWolf, he was the Grand Marshal back then. Probably some previous videos have described what his story was, but he was quite the gentleman to be with. Of course, I got to work with Tim Miller, which was quite the honor to do that. And Bob Braun from the 50/50 Club with WLW was actually the man that crowned me, to put my crown on and present me with my pigskin coat. And then Don Wayne, who was from WHIO, was also part of the parade that year as a marshal. So I've had some really great experiences.
My name is Linda Ray, and I originally was from the New Paris area. And we began the very first year with the Pork Festival, my husband Paul and I, and stayed with it 40 years before we officially retired. And we have been involved in a few activities in the New Paris community, so they tried to bring the individuals from all over the county to form this committee. And my husband was the first treasurer of the Pork Festival, and that's how we got involved. And we stayed actively involved for 40 years. And we volunteered a couple years afterwards with the Arts and Crafts Committee. And then we did a couple more things in volunteering. So I volunteered until the last couple years, and I plan on volunteering this year.
Okay, back in 1984, I was asked if I would like to take the role as chairman of the information booth here at the Pork Festival. So I said, sure. So I took the role, and it took me a little bit to get used to it and everything, but once I did, I decided, yeah, I'm going to hang on to this as long as I can, because I really like the people and like working with the people at the Pork Festival, and you know, I'll just be here forever if I can. So, that's it.
I'm Megan Jameson Griffiths. I have known the Pork Festival my whole life. I was the festival queen in 1998 and went to college, moved away for several years, came back. I've always come back for the Pork Festival, even when I lived away for 20 years. I've always come back to the festival. My husband and I actually got married Pork Festival weekend and came to the Pork Festival after we were married, before we left for our honeymoon, so we could still have our pork chop that weekend. We put flyers and brochures at the Pork Festival in all of our out-of-town wedding wedding bags for out-of-town folks coming in to still promote the festival, because we love it so much. So now I'm in the position that we're part of the production team that puts on the Pork Festival, and we're really excited about that and glad that we can give back to the community after the Pork Festival has given so much to us personally and to the community.
Okay, I have been coming to the Pork Festival for probably about 31 or 32 years. I started out coming with my best friend and her family, and we would get up super early to come out, and every year we would say that we were going to be the first ones there. I don't think we ever were the first ones, and we would shop. We would be here for the entire day, and we would shop all of the booths, and we ate a lot too, but we would shop and spend the whole time. And I probably would say after about 2 or 3 years, I just loved it so much. That's when I kind of knew I wanted to be a part of it. And that's when I became a vendor. So I've been a vendor for probably about 27 years. So for me, this festival means so much. I've been a part of the shopping, and I've been a part of the entertainment and the food and the tradition of coming and being that end. And now, for the last 27 years, I've been a part of the show. I'm here before it even begins. I get to see all the excitement of the setup and everybody getting everything together. So it's been a pretty long time.
I think the Pork Festival is very valuable from an educational aspect. I think there's a lot of people that don't know where meat comes from, and they think it comes from the grocery, and we've all heard that before. But I think the Pork Festival is a good opportunity to just get the community that might not be exposed to that side of, life, and teach them some things about, sustainable agriculture and how things are done.
I think that's a very, very good point. I think today the consumer is getting bombarded with so many different messages about, food and how it's raised, and it's sustainable. And I think the pork industry's got a wonderful story to tell about our product, and it's the most consumed meat in the whole world. And it's because it tastes good, and it's a good product. And the farmers have made changes. They're making changes even at our farm. We've eliminated the gestation stall in our operation, and we've become, to meet the needs of the animal in a better way. And there's some side issues on that too, but I just think that we've got a really good product, and it tastes good, and some of the meat that they're talking about having Impossible Foods and some of these other meat substitutes, they just don't hold a candle to the real thing. And there was something that just came out about somebody tried to say that M&Ms are more healthy for you than meat now, and it's just not true. There's so many issues.
Well, the Pork Festival started out as a way to promote the pork industry, and I still feel like it is a good promoter of the pork industry, and we can promote our good product. I hope that we can show the people how good it can be if you don't overcook it, stuff like that.
I think I have been to 15 pork festivals, and this one will be my 16th year. This is a picture from my first pork festival, and my mom dressed me up in this really cute pig onesie, and I was only maybe 2 weeks old, and my aunt dumped a giant Coke on my face.
If I met someone that had never been to the festival, which I don't think there's too many people that haven't been to the festival at least once in their life if they're local, it's just the camaraderie that comes together with the community. There are so many people that it takes to make the festival successful, and that's number one is the volunteer. So I think I would tell them, come one year and experience it. The next year, come and help us. Be a volunteer, because that is so important. But it's just fun. It's just fun, seeing the different vendors that have come from out of state. I know that back when I was the queen, and the one year I know we had over 60,000 people attended. So there are a lot of different people that come from way far away. And I think Pork Festival is so important because you have zucchini festivals, strawberries festivals, all different types of food, popcorn festivals maybe, But the pork industry actually represents so many different farmers that's their living, Their hogs are their living. Hogs are beautiful. So I think I would maybe just tell them it's not just a festival to celebrate the vendors and to celebrate a pork chop. It's to celebrate the industry of what pork is all about. And they can learn things there too because of the education program that you guys are helping put together.
Some of the announcements I do over the PA is announce a lot of things that are going on around here on the grounds, like things like the pig races and butcher demonstrations and different things that go on in the entertainment tent. And do paging for people once in a while, although we don't have much of that anymore now with the day of cell phones and everything. And pretty much that's about it, but that keeps me busy.
So what I love about the Pork Festival is at its core, no matter what changes, there's a lot of fundamental things that still remain the same and that keep those traditions alive. Whether it's the volunteers, it's the pits that you're cooking pork chops live on site. I just think that's amazing. the food aspect, the country store, the crafters, entertainment, all of that. There might be different menu items, or there might be, you enter from a different door than you did the previous year. But at its core, the tradition of what it means has remained the same. A lot of the changes I remember from being as a kid are the buildings. A lot of the buildings did not exist, and so the crafters were in tents that would go up, and so you would be walking shoulder to shoulder down aisleways and you had grass under your feet, and the tents would be hot and crowded, and so the Pork Festival, through giving back over the years to the actual fairgrounds, the expo building was built, which a lot of the vendors can now move in there, and it's a very nice building for them to be a part of, and it's easier to get around for attendees. So a lot of positive things have happened, and but I just like at its core that really the tradition of everything has remained the same. So changes have been minor in 51 years.
My first festival was the very first one in 1971, and another couple and Paul and I were involved in doing the pork industry related displays in the short order. And Bill and Joanne did the short order the second year, and Paul and I took on the exhibits the second year. But the first year I can remember selling ham sandwiches and pop out of a Pepsi trailer. And it was very interesting.
So what changes have I seen over the years? I feel like the festival has changed as far as its growth. It has grown over the years, but at the same time, the Pork Festival has really held all those traditional things that people look forward to come. They haven't done away with it because maybe it would be more convenient. When you come, there's going to be those certain things set in place, and that's why people come back year after year.
Well, you can sure get hungry when you smell the smell of the pork chops and see the smoke rolling.
I really enjoy the live music at the big tent. It seems like there's always another band playing music, and it really adds to the festivities.
I want to say the parade used to be a really important part of the festival, and I know that we were usually back in the pits always to make sure that we had enough chops prepared, because when the parade dispersed, and those people were all going to be wanting a pork chop. But I never got to see very many parades because I was always working.
What I love best about the festival is just the smell of all the vendors, like the ones that are selling candy or nuts or food, and it just all blends together and smells amazing.
My favorite tradition of the festival, I think, are probably several. I love the barbecue pork chops. That's been a tradition for years and years. I love the parade. It still goes on. It's even continued to go on in later years. I like the entertainment we had. Special entertainment I couldn't remember was a a cappella singing group from Minnesota. Their name was Tonic Sofa, and they were so fun. Great singers, and we had them maybe about 10 years. And the other thing I especially liked, we had a 6-horse hitch with a covered wagon on the back, and it came from the Ryman Productions that do the magazines, Farm and Ranch, Country Woman, and it grew a big crowd that year, and it was really enjoyable.
I think my favorite traditions over the years, they've sort of changed. I think growing up, you know, we lived out in the country, and so going to the pork festival, it was almost like going to the city, you know, because you got to see everybody. That's where all the action was happening, and so I felt like, you know, that was the real social aspect part of it. And then my teenage years to a few years after that, it became about the food. That, you know, it was all the tastiness and having those pork chops and the smells and the sights and the sounds and still being around people and everything. And then now, or after the food part, now it's really about the tradition of being around family and friends.
I'd say the breakfast is mine just because it starts the day off. I gotta have a pork chop before I leave the grounds for sure. But I think the breakfast is just the way of our tradition in the family of starting the pork festival off on the right foot with a full tummy and ready to go and hit the vendors then after that. But the day started with the breakfast, I think, every year for the 51 years, and I'm looking forward to it again this year.
That I was at the very first one in 1971. I remember that. I'll never forget it. I remember helping cook the chops, and we had concrete blocks to make the pits, and we had racks that you had to hold a rack on the top and one on the bottom, and you'd have to go right up in there and flip them by hand, and the smoke was terrible, you know. But yeah, I've been to a lot of them. I think I may have missed maybe a couple when I was in college, but it was always a very exciting time to come back and go to the pork festival. It's been a good thing for the community over the years, and it's really good how it's brought a lot of the people together to make it happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, be sure to come to the pork festival and enjoy, if you'd like a delicious breakfast, the famous and delicious sausage and pancake breakfast will be served in the mornings. And then later, if you'd like to get something to eat, we have the smorgasbord back this year, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy that. And for all you folks that like shopping, we have plenty of booths to do your shopping in that today. So come on out to the pork festival.